Hi everyone, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to a Chelsea news video. There's a lot of news to get through, as there always is around our club, and we'll get into everything: the Ivan Toney whispers, the Victor Osimhen whispers, Trevor Chalaba as well. There's some news around him, potentially Sterling and a Sancho swap. There is just a lot happening as the end of the transfer window nears. But before we get into everything, I'm going to tell you guys about our channel sponsors. If you haven't heard already, Foco are a great site where you can find all things Chelsea. You can get shirts, you can get pajamas, sliders, puzzles, mugs, just all sorts of Chelsea merch and things that you can wear, use, put around your room, whatever you like. And if you would like to check out their stuff and get a discount, you can use cfctvyt. There'll be a QR code as well on screen to make your life easier, but do check out their stuff because they've got some awesome things on there and you don't want to miss out. So let's crack on and talk about the Chelsea news, because again, there's been a lot of stuff happening, a lot of things being said. And following our 6-2 win against Wolves at the weekend, which was absolutely brilliant, and we've all been raving about it, as we should and as we deserve, it is now time to complete our business in the transfer window. And we know that pretty much forever we have had this one issue or this one position on the pitch to address: the striker situation. Now, it's actually really surprised me that after we scored 6 goals at the weekend, people are now suddenly like, no, we don't need a striker, we don't need Toney, we don't need Osimhen. And while it's absolutely great that, you know, our attacking midfielders and our wingers can score goals and assists, absolutely brilliant. However, we've got a whole season ahead of us. We've got so many fixtures. I promise you a striker is necessary. So obviously some of the biggest names out there, Victor Osimhen and Ivan Toney, those are not closed books as of yet. Chelsea are making moves, and while there's nothing concrete in regarding obviously Ivan Toney, we still have heard enough to know that we are still absolutely looking to address that situation, or that void rather, as I like to call it. And Nicholas Jackson, of course, is a great option to have. However, I don't think it's going to be enough moving forward to be able to expect him to deliver the numbers that we will need and also play the amount of games that we will have also. Yes, I know we have Mark Gee as well, who is probably going to end up staying. But again, he's 18. I'm not going to be expecting an 18-year-old to be scoring us goals and getting these numbers that we're going to need. There's been plenty of games last season where we saw that man was always missing at the top of our attack, and I truly think someone like an Ivan Toney could be answering those questions easily, be a solution to what we have so needed. And I think for the longest time I was probably favouring Victor Osimhen over Ivan Toney, but I'm now leaning more towards Ivan Toney. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, but purely because Premier League proven, the fact that, you know, he knows the league well, he knows the clubs that we come up against very well. He's got good link up play and he's just very positionally aware, can score you penalties as well. Obviously we've got a penalty taker in the name of Cole Palmer, but he's just a good all-rounder. And yes, there may be some question marks and concerns surrounding his age, and you might prefer an Osimhen because he's younger, but there is still that risk with Osimhen that he will be arriving into a completely new league. There is a lot of chaos, and with him has come the baggage of some drama as well at Napoli. So I just think in terms of feasibility with the fees and the wages, I think Ivan Toney might be an easier one to pursue and perhaps a less risk, even though we know with strikers at Chelsea there is always a risk and a what if. But with the transfer window nearing to a close, I think Brentford will be keen. I think we'll be in a better position to negotiate this one, but I do understand and I do think that we might not be the only club. Obviously Ivan Toney has been talked about this whole window, and clubs have not necessarily expressed maybe as much interest, and he could again go to Saudi, but he's got the offer potentially there to play Premier League football. And since he did have a year out of the Premier League and football in general, I think he could potentially be keen to stay and play in a more kind of competitive league. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets on, guys. But let me know in the comments down below who you'd rather have, Osimhen or Toney. And I think there'll be some mixed opinions, but to think we don't need a striker is beyond me, guys. It is beyond me. But in other news, we're going to talk about Kepa Arrizabalaga, who has completed a season-long move, well, a loan to Bournemouth. And as I often like to say, you know, it's always been a concern, or perhaps a big what if, and what are we going to do with Kepa when he returns from Madrid? He's still on our books, and I think we've settled to terms and come to terms that we're not going to get anywhere near the amount of money we spent on a record signing for a goalkeeper. But it will be interesting to see how he gets on at Bournemouth. We're obviously assessing the options with where players are going before we finalise that 25-man squad. So it's good to see that we're kind of making sure that everyone's got something. But yeah, wish him all the best. Don't really have much of an opinion as to say, but yeah, Kepa, enjoy Bournemouth. And just in front of the goalkeeping position in our defensive line, we know that Chala has also been a question mark with his future at Chelsea. He's not been training, I think it's fair to say he's been quite mistreated as well, and I, as someone who loves Chala and thinks that he's been a very crucial part, particularly under Thomas Tuchel, to our defensive line, and someone who's been so composed on the ball, knows Chelsea, has literally, you know, bleeds blue, and I don't agree with how he's been treated. Now, there are talks supposedly around Disasi exiting Chelsea and move away from him. We could sell him, as he's not really part of Maresca's plans. And if that happens, apparently it means that Chala could stay. Now, where does that really leave him? Because after all this, does it mean he'll get a chance, really? And I think, in my opinion, I would so be open to Chala being in that back line, because I'm still not entirely secure in our back line, to be completely honest with you. And I think someone who knows and who knows us well, who has played in the Premier League for as long as he has, I think he has a little bit more experience than some of our centre-backs that, you know, have kind of had time out, like, you know, Wesley Fofana or Levi Colwill, who, yes, has played in the Prem, but again is still growing within himself. Tosin, yes, another kind of experienced Premier League player in that case, but someone who's still adapting to the back line. You look at Badia Shield, again, someone who has struggled and has had his difficulties. So I don't think that some sort of familiarity is really going to do us any damage. So we'll see how and what happens with Chala. But for me, I wish that it hadn't really gone down this way. I do understand both kind of sides to it, but honestly, Trev deserves so much good for everything he's done, how he's handled himself, his professional attitude, and he's never been a player that will kick up a fuss about something. So let me know where you guys see Chala in kind of the next year. What is he going to do? Is he going to be at Chelsea? Is he not? And all of that. And before we round this transfer news, well, just Chelsea news video in general out, we've got to talk about the latest with a potential swap for Raheem Sterling in exchange for Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, which has shocked me. I can't say that I saw this happening. Jadon Sancho, of course, has been quite unlucky in his career, and I think his next move, he will hope to be one that he can really just find himself kind of playing consistently, developing and becoming the player that we all thought, you know, and still think he can be, because I think, you know, there's no argument that he's a talented player, lots of potential, seen some great things, promising things. I'm just not sure that he necessarily is something Chelsea needs right now. And again, I think it could be a case of us trying to facilitate a move for Sterling, because we know that he's not part of Maresca's plans, and we, you know, with the whole statement thing and him trying to seek clarity, I think it's in his best interest to find a perfect move for him. And in terms of playing for Manchester United, where he could probably get a lot more minutes and stay in the Premier League, yeah, Raheem Sterling wants that, because he still thinks and believes he's good enough to play at this level. I don't think Saudi necessarily entices him just yet. I could be wrong though, but I do think that he will want to play regular minutes, play in the Premier League, stay. So it could be a case of us doing that, and it's great for us in terms of offloading those wages. And yeah, but I'm obviously open to selling Sterling now, I think, but I'm not necessarily that keen on Sancho coming to Chelsea. But yeah, we will see how all of this unfolds in the next few days. I'll tell you one thing for sure though, Chelsea will be signing someone. Shock of that, right? But yeah, before the window closes, we're going to get some more business done, and we'll see how that plays out. But guys, if you haven't subscribed to Chelsea Fan TV, hit that subscribe button. Check out my personal channel as well, which is in the title of this video. Make sure you check out FOCO, the channel sponsors, for your 15% discount on the things that you like. And of course, leave your comments down below, and up the Chelsea.